In this video, I want to share with you how you can get the most out of virtual property networking. So my name's Simon Zutshi. I'm the founder of the Property Investors Network with 50 network meetings all over the country. They're obviously all now virtual, so I understand a little bit about networking. I'm also the author of Property Magic, the Amazon #1 property bestseller, over 100,000 copies sold over the last 12 years. And I've been investing in property for 25 years myself. Now, you know what? I believe that some of the people I've met through networking, some of the things I've learned through networking has been some of the most valuable experiences I've gained on my 25-year property investing journey. And that's why I started the Property Investor Network back in 2003. There were no property networking meetings in the UK at all, so I started them off. And I did it because I'd been investing by that time for 8 years. I'd replaced my income, I was able to leave my job, and I had enough property to give me a reasonable lifestyle. But I felt really lonely. You know, none of my family ever invested apart from their own homes. All my friends were still at work. I didn't know any other investors. So I thought, wouldn't it be smart for me to get together and meet like-minded people and to learn from them, to minimize my mistakes and just kind of feel like I'm not on my own anymore. So that's why I started the Property Investor Network. Now, obviously with COVID-19, the world changed and we took all of our events very, very quickly online. We've been through a couple of iterations. We first did GoToWebinar. We now use Zoom, and I'm going to talk particularly about Zoom and how you can use it, whether it's our network meetings or other people's network meetings or even big property events. Going to these online events is a great way to build your network, to meet people who you can sell deals to, who you can buy deals from, who can lend you money or joint venture with you. The more people you know in property, the more successful you're going to be. So I'm going to give you some hints and tips in this video about how you can make the most out of virtual property networking. So the first thing is this. First of all, you've got to participate. You know, property investing is a participation sport. If you do go to a virtual event, don't just sit there quiet, not saying anything. You know, get involved. Often there's a chat box or there's a question box. If you've got questions, stick your hand up, ask those questions. Don't be scared. There's no such thing as a silly question. If you're thinking something, maybe you're listening to a speaker and they're sharing their journey, they're giving you massive value, but a thought pops into your head, a question. Well, why not reach out and ask that question? Because guess what? Maybe some other people have also thought about it. So get the answers to your questions. Tap into the extensive knowledge of the people we have speaking at these events because they've been and done the things that you want to do. They've got the results you want to get. Why on earth would you not want to learn from those people? So participate. Don't be afraid to ask questions. What we do at our virtual events, whether it's a monthly networking meeting or our big online events that might have 500 people, we will use the Zoom breakout rooms, which put you into much smaller groups of typically 4 to 5 people. So you can connect with other people, sometimes from your investing area, sometimes from all over the country, or maybe even international investors. And you can connect with those people, get to know them, and start to build a relationship. And who knows, maybe you can start working with those people in the future. So I want to give you a few ideas about how you can maximize that opportunity. First of all, before you come to any virtual networking meeting, you want to think about, what do I want to achieve? Yes, I'm going to learn from the speakers and I'm going to build my knowledge, but what specifically do I want? Maybe you want an introduction. Maybe you want a contact for a reliable plumber in your area or a solicitor who can do purchase lease options. You know, what are you looking for? If you're really clear, and then when you meet people, and they say, hey, what do you want? You tell them. The more people you tell what you're looking for, the more likely someone's going to know someone who can help you and give you a recommendation. So be really clear on what you want to achieve from the meeting, first of all. Secondly, you might think, hey, I want to raise some money. Well, look, if you meet someone, no one's going to give you £100,000 straight away. You've got to get to know them. You've got to build trust with them. So the way you do that is, first of all, on Zoom, everyone has their name displayed. When you're in a little small breakout room, write down the names of the people. Take some notes. And they might have Nikki, Bob, Sarah, and William. And it might be that William's saying, yeah, I've got some money I want to invest, not sure what to do. Write his name down, make some notes, and then reach out to him. Often, many of these events, they have Facebook groups that are backing up the virtual events. You can go on the Facebook, you can find the person, you can add them as a friend, send a quick message and say, hey, look, I saw you on the Property Investor Network meeting or Property Magic Live, or whatever it was. Hopefully we can connect. Then connect with that person and follow up. This is so important. Even at physical network meetings, people collect business cards and do nothing with them. So what you want to do when you connect with someone, whether it's physically at a meeting or virtually online, write their name down, reach out to them within 24 hours. Because otherwise, you're going to get busy, you're going to forget, they're going to forget, and unfortunately that time is then lost. So it's about speed of implementation, it's about taking action quickly, reaching out to them. And what I suggest you do is say, hey, can we have a Zoom or a Skype coffee? Now the way that works is basically, most of us like a cup of tea in the morning, a cup of tea in the afternoon, whatever. You could arrange to have a virtual online meeting with someone as a follow-up from a networking or a training event where you met them virtually. Say, hey, why don't we have a coffee together, have a chat. So basically you set a time, maybe it's 11 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. You both go online onto Zoom or Skype, whatever. And what you do is you sit there with a cup of tea, and they have a cup of tea and you've got the video on and you're sitting there drinking your tea, having your biscuits, whatever, talking to them as if you were face-to-face in a cafe or something. And the whole point is, because you can see them and talk to them, you just start to build that relationship. And remember to ask them lots of questions. Ask them all about them. What do they want to achieve? What are they doing in property? And you might learn something from that anyway, but it's important to be interested in people. And then human nature is they'll say, what about you? And you could talk about yourself and you can work out if maybe there's some sort of resonance and maybe you can help each other in the future. Don't think you're going to, metaphorically speaking, jump into bed straight away. It takes time to get to know people and trust people. But the more they see you, the more you connect, the more familiarity, the quicker that trust will build. That's why it's really important to go to your local virtual network meeting on a regular basis. Don't expect to just go once and expect people to be showering you with money. Well, that's probably not going to happen. You need to show up regularly, become a known and trusted face. And I would recommend, look, pin meetings, you can arrive from 6:30 in the evening through till 7 o'clock. We have breakout rooms, we can connect with people. Then we have some updates from the mortgage broker, letting agent, main speaker, prize draw, that kind of stuff. Then we have another 10 to 15 minute networking break in the middle. It's another great opportunity to connect with some people. Then we have the main speaker, and pretty much by 9 o'clock we're done. Now, a lot of people shoot off at 9 o'clock, but treat it like a physical network meeting. A lot of people will stay longer, connect in the bar, and that's often when some of the best networking is done. So what happens normally at the pin meetings after 9, the host and the speakers and maybe the mortgage broker will stay and do a bit of a Q&A. You can ask them great questions and things. And then, there's an opportunity after that again to network. So I would encourage you to plan to arrive, say 6:30 online and then finish at 9:30, 10. And the benefit, because you're doing it from home, you've got no traveling time, you've got no traveling cost. It's very easy to participate in these online virtual events. Now I know that there's a lot of free webinars, there's a lot of online content, and that's great, but normally when there's a free webinar, there's some sort of offer or promotion, which again is fine, they've got to make some money somehow. That's why we charge for our events. We charge £20 for a pin meeting. We charge thousands of pounds for our 3-day online training courses because we don't do lots of sales pitches. We just give great value and we want to attract the right people who understand the value of investing in themselves. When you have lots of free events, nothing wrong with free events, but you've got to bear in mind a lot of people they attract are people who don't have any money. They're never going to do anything. And because things are free, unfortunately, they don't value them. When we have an event that's paid, even if it's just £20, we attract a slightly higher caliber of person who understands that actually it's in their benefit to invest in themselves and build their network of like-minded people who also understand the value of investing with themselves. Whenever I go to physical events, I always will pay extra to be in the VIP area, partly because I want to be at the front because I've got such bad eyesight, but also I want to connect with the other VIPs who've also paid to be in that exclusive area. They're the people I want to connect with, I want to work with. Metaphorically speaking, when you're doing virtual events, I want to go to events where people have paid to be there. They're more qualified, they're more serious, they're more likely to be the people I want to hang out with and connect with. And I recommend you can do the same. So just to summarize, first of all, when you're doing events, participate. Don't just sit there in the background. If you've got a camera, put the camera on. Imagine you're at the event live, and focus on what's going on. Very often people are listening to something, they're doing their emails, and frankly, you're going to miss some of the valuable content. I have heard most of the speakers at the pin meetings many, many times, but I always have my pad. I'm always there taking notes, and I will always pick up something from every speaker, even if I've heard them many times before, because sometimes speakers will change their talk. They're not always the same. They're going to update it and put new things in. And also, if you listen to a talk a second or even a third time, you're in a different place than when you were the first time you listened. And different things you're going to pick up and resonate with you depending where you're on your journey. So actually, I think listening to speakers multiple times gives great value. There's always going to be some golden nuggets if you're looking for them. So listen to the speakers, participate, answer questions. When you have the networking, the breakout groups, make sure you're writing down people's names. If they're of interest, reach out to them within 24 hours on social media, connect with those people, have a Skype or a Zoom coffee, start to build the relationships. And the other thing, just to prepare you, at the PIN Property Investor virtual events, everybody has the opportunity to do a 20-second elevator pitch. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but it's a great opportunity to introduce yourself, say where you're from, what you're doing in property, and if you make it interesting, you might attract people who want to connect and network with you. So again, if you're going to these online events, be aware there's opportunities there, rather than just missing out on the opportunity because you're not ready, you're not prepared, or trying to make it up on the spot. Plan and write down, what am I going to say? What are my 20 seconds I'm going to say? And so when you do that, there might be people in the audience, the first time they're hearing you, you want to make the best impression you possibly can on those people. So be prepared, take plenty of notes, participate, and you can get as much out of a virtual event, maybe even more than a physical event, without the hassle or cost or time of any travel. So make sure you participate in the various online events we have, whether it's PIN ones or other training. Upskilling and improving your knowledge in this difficult time is a really important thing to do. One of the best things you can do, especially all those people who are not sure about the future and employment, rather than sitting there and waiting to see what happens, now's the time to get out there, take action, upskill, so it doesn't matter if you lose your job or you're made redundant, because you're going to have alternative income streams in place. So as ever, I would encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. If you found this video useful, please smash the like button, subscribe to this channel to make sure you don't miss any of these. I do weekly videos, sometimes more than that, with hopefully content that's going to help you become a more successful investor. If you subscribe, you're more likely to get those. And also, if you've not been to one of our network meetings before, there's a link below in the description where you click and come and check out the PIN meetings. Never been before, you can come as our guest. There's a voucher code you can use to bypass the payment page for your very first time and save £20. If you've been before, you know how great the PIN meetings are. Come back, make sure you're building your knowledge, and you can give that voucher code to maybe some of your family members or friends or work colleagues who might also be interested in property investing, and give something to them to help them on their property journey. So as ever, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. I'll see you on the next video.